welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Nathan Ragland, and for today's episode, luckily you won't have to go towards Galaxy's End to see the wonderful conversation that I have for you today with a fantastic guest that I know you all are going to absolutely love. Today's guest is Kennedy Freeman, an animation director, character designer, storyboard artist, as well as the creator of the upcoming indie animated series that is out of this world, Towards Galaxy's End. Kennedy is someone that has been on my radar thanks to several incredible previous guests that have been on this podcast, and trust me, I will make sure to shout them out throughout the episode. But even then, what they have been able to do on their own accord, just professionally, as well as with Towards Galaxy's End, is absolutely sensational, and I knew I had to get them on the podcast sooner rather than later. If you enjoy our guests, please make sure you support them with the links down in the description below, especially checking out the Kickstarter for Towards Galaxy's End. It's going to be dropping on March 1st, but you can go ahead and check out the Kickstarter page right now if you're watching this before March 1st. You can click on the button to where you'll be notified when the Kickstarter does launch so that you can show that love and support for what Kennedy and the people at Luv Letter Studios are doing almost immediately. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Leave 5 stars wherever you can. You know I see that stuff. You know it genuinely does warm my heart. If you want to go a little further with that support, may I recommend you check out our fourthwall.com shop for some sensational merch. We have some outstanding streetwear done by some wonderful guests that have previously been on the podcast, and I know you would look sensational in this streetwear today, so take the chance to check out that link and shop around. Maybe you might find your next great fit. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast.
Also, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too. Or I guess for some of us like myself, happy Singles Awareness Day.
Listen, it's Treat Yourself Day.
Exactly. Treat Yourself Day. That's why I made sure to get myself some nice little sweets when I went grocery shopping today. So there you go.
Yes, see.
But how are you doing today?
Pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I was sick like most of the week, so everyone kind of like pick up my slack for me because I've just been like, essentially anime makes you overwork yourself, so
I've noticed that.
Yeah. So this time around I think I was on 5 shows at once, and so goodness. My body finally said you need to rest.
Your body was like, please take a breather, take a break, you need it. Well, I'm glad you're at least alive more than anything else. If you were still like super sick or whatnot, I would have understood if you'd been like, can we push this to a later day? I would have been perfectly understanding more than anything else. But I'm glad to hear you're good.
Hopefully you're doing well too. I know you said last time like we were talking, you were also very busy on your end. So
I was a little bit busy. I know, like I'm glad we did it this weekend because if we did it 2 weekends ago, I would have been in the same boat as you, like super duper, like just sick on my end as well. And even then, like, whenever we were even thinking about doing this in the first place, like I was just getting through the end of the year. I was about to go on my little personal hiatus because I needed to take like a couple months just to breathe because I had been working myself to the bone and getting next to nothing. I'm sure you, as someone working in the industry and dealing with a lot of projects that a lot of people don't give a lot of respect to in the first place, you know what it's like. So yeah,
it's rough. It's rough, but hopefully your break went well and you were able to just kind of give yourself a moment to rest.
Oh no, it absolutely was. It was good to just breathe, relax. Part of it was going up to Baltimore to see a bunch of my buddies or whatnot. So I had a much needed break more than anything else.
Okay, that's good.
But now I'm getting back on the grind. All right, Kennedy, before we really do get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may. Let's say you get to go to a desert island on your own accord. It's just you alone with your thoughts. You get to kick back, relax, breathe, get truly enjoy yourself for a little bit. With accommodations. I shouldn't say desert island, more like a personal B&B paradise away from society for a little bit. To help make sure you don't go completely insane on this island, you can bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help with whatever kind of headspace you want on this island. If given this opportunity, what will that one piece be?
I'm bringing Ojamajo Doremi because that is my comfort show that I had when I was a kid.
Okay, okay. No, honestly, that just saying that alone is extremely valid. But what was it about that show that made that like the instant comfort show for you, as well as like the first choice that came to mind?
It actually was a show that got me into wanting to be an animator. So just being
Oh,
able to like experience the characters again while I'm just on my personal island, just relaxing, I think that would help me figure out, like, I guess get back into why I want to go back into doing animation or
okay.
being an animator.
Honestly, no, that's extremely valid. It's always nice to go back to kind of your roots or whatnot to realize, hey, this is why I love this stuff in the first place more than anything else, especially when you have all this time on this little personal paradise, like as long as you want to be there more than anything else. So, yeah. But regardless, what's the name of the show again? I just want to make sure I don't butcher it whenever I say it.
Oja Majo Do Re Mi, but you could say Magical Do Re Mi because that was on 4Kids.
Magical Do Re Mi. That sounds easier for me right now. That is your answer. You're locking that in.
Yes.
Then if that's the case, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You will look fantastic in the merch we have at the merch shop, fourthwall.com. Link to that is in the description below. And follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and most social media platforms at Postmod Art Pod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. She is an animation director, character designer, storyboard artist, and the founder of Luv Letter Studios, a 2D animation studio providing stunning scenes to many projects, including their own gorgeous indie animated series, Towards Galaxy's End. Welcome to the podcast, Kennedy Freeman.
Thank you for having me. Also, that was very fun. I love that.
Thank you. Look, anytime I try to bring a guest on here, whatnot, I try to make sure that both you and the audience know just how big of a deal it is for me to have you on this podcast. I feel like I did a good job there.
That was super fun. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, this is so cool.
Just getting yourself hyped up more than anything else. It's like, I'm about to like run through a wall after hearing that intro, right? How you doing today, Kenzie?
Pretty good. You know, it's Valentine's Day. Astro agrees that it's Valentine's Day.
Right, especially at the time that we're recording this, it is indeed February 14th, Valentine's Day. So I feel like it's a little bit too appropriate that I have the founder of Luv Letter Studios on the podcast recording for this day more than anything else. But I mean, regardless, this is something that I know for to get a little behind baseball for the people at home or whatnot. We've been talking about wanting to get this podcast done for a good couple months at this point. I know I reached out to you not too long after I had our good friend and former guest of the podcast, Lakyra Porter, on the podcast as well. I knew I had to get you on to talk about just the incredible stuff you're doing, both when it comes to Towards Galaxy's End, but also just the incredible stuff you get to work on in the first place. But before we talk about the stuff you're doing nowadays, I want to go back just a little bit and learn more or less the origin story of Kennedy. What got you interested in art and animation and stuff in the first place?
Well, I guess again, Ultra Macho Do Re Mi, but I mean, I was one of those kids that did pretty much everything when I was a kid. So I did tap, ballet, African jazz, tennis, figure skating, drums, and chorus growing up. And so I guess my mom's goal was to see which one stuck, and none of them did. It was, I want to be an animator.
I do gotta say, I love how you were just listing all different stuff, like just, you know, jazz, figure skating, you know, chess club in there probably, or something along the lines of that. I'm just thinking to myself, like, did you have time to like step away and enjoy like a juice box or something? Like, Jesus, like they had you, your parents had you doing everything. And it's funny that the thing that you went to is just, I want to draw the pictures.
She was very confused when I was like, hey, so I think I want to be an animator. She was like, what? Did we put you in an art class? No.
Well, I mean, that also leads to another, like, I think a good question as well, is like, what was it about like art and animation stuff that even drove you to in the first place? Because again, like you said, you definitely had the experience to go into just about any sort of aspect of art in one form or fashion, judging by how you were raised or whatnot. What was it about animation that really drove you into that field? Like you knew you had to be there.
So around 5th grade, my friend, shout out to Mariah, she was like, hey, you should watch this anime. And I was like, what's that? She goes, it's like cartoons, but from Japan.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that old meme where it's like, it's made in Japan.
I've heard it before, but I can't remember where it's from.
It's a YouTube video. I can't remember.
I got you.
But like, she was like, yeah, you should watch this. And I was like, oh no, it's Be More Chill. That was a Be More Chill reference. There we go.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you.
But she was like, you should watch this thing, and it was like Soul Eater. And at first I was like, no, that sounds scary. I don't want to watch it. But I was like, but I'll watch this thing called Precure, which apparently is made by the same person that made Magical Do Re Mi. And then I got into Magical Girls, and she was like, these are cool. You should watch Soul Eater. I was like, maybe. Then like, I want to say like a month or so later, I watched Soul Eater, and I was like, oh, so this is how they're moving in Japan. And he was like, yeah. And then that was it. I was like, actually, I might just become an animator because this is pretty cool.
Right. Funny enough, the way that you felt about Soul Eater, this is gonna sound so funny, was the way that I felt about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mainly because the first scene that I saw of Avatar, I forget what the exact episode was, but it was like in this like torn down area, like they're in this like swampy, muddy area, and Aang is just like surrounded by guards or whatnot in this like dark, depressing space. And like that was the first scene that I saw from Avatar, and I'm like, this is like way too much for me. Like I obviously I've since gone back and watched it. Obviously it's a classic series for a reason. It's just probably the worst place to start more than anything else, was in the middle of the worst part of it. Goodness. So obviously like watching it and being exposed to it is one thing. So when did it go from just like this, something that you loved and appreciated and thought, hey, maybe I could do something with this, to a passion and truly wanting to make it your career? Like when did you ultimately buckle down and just be like, I want to be in this for the rest of my life?
Probably high school, when my dream college at the time, SCAD, wound up visiting. Ooh. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, I want to go here. And so I didn't know for what yet until like I thought about it. I was like, well, I like animation. I like the pretty pictures. Right. I have a little old Android phone that I can like do little scribbles on and say it moved.
It's always those little apps that make it the best more than anything else. Also, shout out to SCAD more than anything else. As someone that is based in Georgia or whatnot, I've always heard about SCAD a million times over. That was at one point a dream college for me. And then I realized it was a private college and the tuition was expensive as all get out. And I did not have the ability to even cover those payments more than anything else. Goodness. But like that, I can only imagine once you actually got to college, and especially in the space of SCAD more than anything else, that must have opened your eyes like a million different ways of like, oh, this is how involved it is. Oh, this is like what goes into like what makes the sausage at the end of the day.
Yes, I will say the first year I was there, because I actually didn't get in the first time because my grades were trash. So I wound up going to BMCC, which is Borough Manhattan Community College, for like the first years. And when I went, I was trying to make sure I did as good as I could to get a scholarship because, like you said, SCAD is expensive.
Yes, it is.
Luckily, my mom wound up helping me out significantly, which was very nice of her. She didn't, obviously, like, she didn't have to do that, but I love my parents.
Right.
They were able to help me, and then I got an RA job just so I could try to fit in any more bills, so we didn't have to pay for housing and stuff, since I had to do RA stuff for like food. You have to pay for that, so that was good. But it was interesting because my teachers were straight out of Disney. So how SCAD works is there's like the Savannah campus and then there's Atlanta. And the Savannah one, it's usually like the traditional 2D animators, or like the Disney 3D animators that work on the films. And then like Atlanta, it's more TV. I didn't realize it at the time, but I wound up just doing Savannah, and then COVID happened, so I kind of had to stay in Savannah.
Yep. The unfortunate time of COVID, which, I mean, in one way, we're both also connected to that because COVID kind of helped us get closer to the goals that we have today. COVID was what made me start this podcast more than anything else, because I was stuck inside and there was nothing else to do. But COVID, I imagine for you, being stuck inside, let you to focus on on your work and such, and really like help further that drive to get to that goal at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, even then, like, getting to college is one thing, and having that experience in there is a whole nother thing. But like, especially with like what you were trying to focus on more than anything else, because I imagine like even just being in the animation realm is one thing, but you specifically wanted to focus when it came to anime more than anything else. Now, obviously, like at the end of the day, it's animation, it's art, it's all incredible, whatnot. But what was it about anime in particular that like you knew you had to be in that field specifically, like working on this style of animation?
So truthfully, I didn't think it was possible at first because like to me, I was like, well, I mean, I'm just a foreigner in America. Like they wouldn't hire me. I'm like, I'm just here. I don't know.
Right.
Look at Japanese. Like they're not going to come to me. And then I wound up finding out one of my friends like Lucree or
Oh,
there was like a student at the time who was, I believe he's Nigerian, but he was also going to SCAD and he was working on Boruto. His name is like Gabriel. Like when I found out he was working in anime, I was like, oh, so it's possible.
right.
So at that point, I was like, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna see if I can work in anime. I can see if I can get a job in anime. Obviously, I was still going to go for like regular 2D animation, but
Of course.
animation isn't necessarily a job in the US. So I also took it upon myself to learn character design, prop design, and storyboard, so that way I could cover my bases. But
Absolutely.
I was like, if I could work in anime, I would, and it happened. So
Yeah, no joke. First off, shout out to those artists that you mentioned or whatnot. I know I heard Lee Cree, I'm like, ooh, that is a name I've heard, and I've definitely have wanted to talk to them more than anything else because they are insane with their animation more than anything else. But also like, yeah, especially when it comes to like even just getting the chance or hearing especially how diverse you made your portfolio more than anything else to make sure you were able to get a job. Like I had seen some of like the character designs on your website more than anything else, and like you have some really stunning designs more than anything else. I know there was one in particular. I'm trying to remember how exactly it was set up or what. I remember that the person on the left side, left side of it or whatnot, they had like the half afro, half cornrows or whatnot, and like their outfit was absolutely stunning or whatnot. And like your outfits more than anything else, and like character designs in general, but your outfits in general, you do a great job really expressing that more than anything else. I just gotta commend you on that more than anything.
thank you. I always think if this was something I would wear, I gotta draw it because I would love to wear it, but I'm not brave enough sometimes.
You don't know how much I relate to that on so many different levels. There are so many outfits out there that I'm like, ooh, that looks great. It would not look great on me though. But regardless, like, and even then, you know, once I also saw that, you know, even then starting out, like, as fun as it was to imagine even working in anime, like you said, you know, you weren't sure that was a possibility. So you did get a good bit of industry work. I did see you got a chance to do some internships with like Disney, DreamWorks, doing some PA work with Titmouse or whatnot, which just saying those alone is already like insane to even think about. Like, what was the experience like at least at those like companies or whatnot, getting the chance to even like tinker in those worlds and like the bare minimum, you know, again, internships and PA work.
It's interesting because for the DreamWorks one, I wound up working on a show when they just got greenlit.
Okay.
So I started out on episode 1 while I was in my senior year of college.
Oh, that's insane.
It was fun. The consequence of it was I also had a mentorship at the same time with women in animation, which meant I also had to do something else with my mentor that was at Netflix at the time.
Right.
Which shout out to Crystal as well.
Yep.
But I had to juggle that and then technically 3 studio classes, but I also didn't think that I was going to get the DreamWorks internship. So I was one of the only students at the time that was on 7 senior films.
7 senior films? I went to school for just standard filmmaking or whatnot, and I had juggle with like 1 or 2 like ordinary live action films. Working on 7 animated like projects in one form or fashion, like even if I can only imagine it could be as simple as, well, I say simple, but it could be something like the character design, the storyboard art, you know, prop design or whatnot. Like that's how are you? You are a workaholic if I have heard of one more than anything else. Oh, goodness.
It was a situation where I told myself, okay, well, one of these has to win an award, so
right.
I'm going to just work on it.
One of these has got to work. It'll work somehow.
I was like, okay, we're not graduating without an award, so one of these got to do it.
And then on top of that, working on 7 different projects. And then on top of that, like you said, you didn't know you were going to get it, but you got the DreamWorks internship at the same time as well. I can only imagine how exhausted you were by the end of the day half the time.
If I could stay in my dorm room, I tried my hardest, because it was definitely a situation where it was like I was the PA, but because the show started at DreamWorks, like I didn't have to do too much.
Okay.
So they were like, yeah, you can just learn how it, like the bread and butter works. You can sit here, you can go to the meetings. If you want to help us take notes, you can. And then surely enough, they let me help take notes and just kind of go through things, try to talk with the team and learn more and more about how production works. And that was one of the cool things about it. I did get offered a chance to come back to the team, but because I got offered to work with Disney as well, I was like, well, Disney was going to let me do art.
There you go.
I was still going to do production. And so I wanted to come back, but everyone knew I wanted to do art at the end of the day, so they understood.
Yeah, as nice as the environment was, you're doing the thing that you wanted to do at the other place. Like, why not go for that chance at the end of the day? Yeah. And even then, like I said, that's just with the standard like studios that a lot of people that, you know, probably listen to this podcast, or even people that have that don't even think about animation as much. The ones that you talked about, those are like the ones that we definitely know of more, or that people will definitely have heard of. I'm curious when it comes to the anime work, when did that become a reality? I know you kind of mentioned it with, like I said, you know, Lee Cree and I'm trying to, why am I blanking on the person? Gabriel. Like how they kind of told you, hey, this is even a possibility. So when did you take those first steps to make it a reality for yourself? When did you get those first opportunities to work in anime?
So it's been about 3 years now since I've done my first anime. I remember there was a studio like Tonari, and at the time they were one of like the go-to if you were a foreigner wanting to work in anime.
Okay.
I definitely didn't have the portfolio for them because like anime layouts and animation are completely different. They need you to know like what goes into a layout compared to like, you know, like I could say I can animate, but
right.
Can I write the appropriate timesheet? Can I write the appropriate notations that are needed? So I spent a lot of my time after Disney just trying to figure that out. But at the same time, I was working on my indie project. So
yeah.
I had trouble at first, but then I went to California to visit a friend. And when I was there, I got a chance to meet someone else who, funny enough, knew who like I was also like staying with while I was there. And so he wound up telling me, hey, you can try this group again and just tell them that you know me, or just kind of like say like, hey, I checked over your stuff. So it kind of helped me to get kind of a chance. It was a test run.
Right.
I didn't have to do notations then because it was like a mix of an anime film / like a Taiwanese and French project.
Okay, interesting.
So it was more so, well, let's see how she handles this, which was like me doing Genga, but then clean up in color. And I had like, I think 18 hours to do it.
Oh, wow. I mean, even then, regardless, like that must have been interesting, like just even getting your foot in the door with that opportunity and the help of the friend or whatnot, like getting that foot in the door. Certainly from what I've been able to see since then, certainly led to some really incredible opportunities to work on some projects that, as I'm looking through your resume or whatnot, absolutely blow my mind. You got a chance to work with Pokemon, Beyblade, ReZero, Batman Ninja. You just recently posted that you got to work on Jujutsu Kaisen more than anything else. Like, it's got to be insane to think that like you are in this opportunity to work in these places or work on these projects, let alone like become a major part and help bring this thing to life.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting because I have to do it from like a management standpoint where like I have a team that also gets to help out on things, but then also like I'm an artist. So opposed to doing it with just like, oh, well, I'm the freelancer in mine. I have to do it with, oh, well, you're hiring, technically speaking, my company, even though it might most times just be me. It's like I have to like jump into that headspace of like, oh, I now am a boss. I have to handle this like a boss.
Like a boss. For those that get those references or whatnot, at this point, I feel bad saying this, but you probably deserve a senior citizens discount. We're that old, unfortunately. But that being said, like even then, like again, even mentioning those names sounds like just a good night on Crunchyroll more than anything else. But like the fact that you got a chance to even tinker in those worlds, that like even from as simple as a management perspective or whatnot, that's gotta be insane. I'm curious, out of the anime experience that you've had or whatnot, is there any particular one that kind of stands out in your mind as like this? It still blows my mind that I even got a chance to do something like this, or I even got a chance to even tinker in this world more than anything else.
Medalist was my favorite because of the figure skating aspect. That's as much as I'm allowed to say.
Valid.
But like for the audience that paid attention to the plethora of stuff I said that I did at the very beginning, they'll probably understand why I'm saying medalist.
Oh, I can only imagine. It's one that I unfortunately have not seen, so I'm gonna have to take your word on that one more than anything else. But still, like again, the fact, like even just you describing it, the way that you got to tinker in that world more than anything else and bring that to life or whatnot. Again, from someone that years ago was getting a recommendation from their friend to watching Soul Eater to here you are right now getting the chance to even tinker in those worlds, like that leap in the journey more than anything else has got to be mind blowing. At the end of the day, it's like, wow, I'm actually doing this.
It's such a weird feeling because one of the first animes I got to work on was Blue Exorcist, and Blue Exorcist is quite literally one of my favorite animes.
Okay.
So getting to work on it twice was a very weird thing to me because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm animating the boys. And like in anime, you can choose what scenes you want to work on, but I will say for like the second time around I got to work on it, it was like me doing layout and not just like key animation for like Genga.
Okay.
So I remember specifically choosing not to draw my favorite character. And it wasn't because I didn't want to draw him, because I did get to draw him in like the last season, even though it wasn't like my cut, but it was still me like saying like it was my key animation.
Right.
I was like, as much as I would love to draw Rin on Fire, I don't think I can do this cut justice. Okay. So I will do another cut with a character underwater that I also love. And play with the emotions there.
There you go. There you go. Play a little bit to your strengths while letting your babies go or whatnot, and have them being shown to life by other incredible artists that are obviously working to bring this thing to life in one form or fashion at the end of the day. I mean, it's still, again, like as someone that enjoys this kind of media or whatnot, I always love hearing kind of like the inside stories as much as we can of like working in a studio or whatnot. At least it sounds to me that like at the very least, working for an anime studio, it seems like a different set of challenges or a different, like a unique way to go around animation compared to what we would normally hear when it comes to like the Americanized system of Disney or Titmouse or whatnot. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong in assuming that.
No, you're right. You're right. Anime is very straightforward because of the time constraints. So when we get a shot, usually unless you're like at the studio and you're like not a freelancer, like if you get a shot in anime, you have to one shot it essentially.
Oh wow.
Like,
okay.
You can do like maybe at max 2 retakes. They might give you like a few options, like if they genuinely think you can do it and they want you to do it, then like they'll let you do it a few more times. But like, in the US you might have like 4 or 5, 6, 7, 20. 20 is kind of insane, but like a lot of retakes. And anime is like one and done because we got to keep it moving.
Right. Right. No, I mean, honestly, that's extremely valuable, especially like I said, the time constraint, the fact that they seem to be pushing out, episodes like it's, donuts at the Krispy Kreme or whatnot, something like that. Oh, goodness. But it also leads me to be curious because you kind of mentioned it a couple of times, but I imagine working in the anime kind of led you to going forth and making a studio of your own, a reality or whatnot. And that is with the wonderful Luv Letter Studios. Now, I'm curious, what led to the creation of the studio in the first place?
So I actually wanted to do something where I could protect towards Galaxy's End.
Okay.
Because I just said like, hey, I have free time now that like I'm not working at Disney anymore. The job market, while still trash, was very bad like
Mm-hmm.
last year. So I was like, okay, well, I might as well just sit here and make Love Letter, have Towards Galaxy's End underneath Love Letter, and then go from there. But then during that time period, a few jobs were like, hey, can you also do like this, that, and a third? And I told them like I genuinely don't have time. But then I was like, oh, I have a team though that has time
Right.
and are very talented. And so that's how that wound up growing in a sense where like I was able to give the team that was helping me out on TGE opportunities to work on like actual TV and film
Okay.
shows.
No, that's incredible to hear more than anything else. That like what started off as just something to make sure that you protect your baby, which we will be talking about in a second. I promise you we will. We're gonna get into that point. But something that was created to kind of protect it more than anything else has kind of grown to this kind of opportunity for both yourself and other talented, incredible artists to work on stuff like Towards Galaxy's End, but also like some of the incredible things you got a chance to help with and take with as well. I know we recently had a fantastic guest, Bree, with the Three Tomes. I seen that you got a chance to help out with some of the animation when it came to that, which that had to be just fun more than anything else, helping Bree bring that to reality with the like even just the two handful of scenes that you got to bring to life at the end of the day.
Yeah, shout out to Elle and Basil because they were the ones, or Elle, Basil, and Jenna. They were the ones that like also kind of like work with Love Letter that wound up helping Bree with that. I more so just did a bit more consulting, but like the team did help with like more on the outside affairs situation. But yeah,
Yep.
um, it was cool still getting a chance to like see everything come together and just being there with them as like they were making it and just being like, Bree, they're in color.
Yes.
I'm like, they're in color.
They are live, they are moving, they are colorful, they're actually somewhat fluid. What is this? Oh my goodness, I cannot like I'm 100% honest when I say this. Like the animated scenes that you guys provided for that or whatnot were some of the best moments of the entire thing for me more than anything else. Particularly the moment where I'm forgetting his name or whatnot, but like basically when the two lovers look at each other for like a quick second or whatnot, it's like you're in this very serious fight situation, but then there's this awesome like colored like super duper romantic like, oh, is that the long awaited love that I've been waiting? Is it like that moment? I laughed a little too hard because it's like you guys are fighting. What are you doing?
It was so pretty. I was like, oh my
Stunning.
gosh, I love it. But yes, they are fighting. I'm like, yep, you guys are definitely in a deadly situation.
Absolutely. And for people that don't know what in the world we're talking about, please go watch the Three Tomes. It's absolutely fantastic, and you guys need to watch it.
Yes.
Support creators, support indie animation, support Black creators, all that kind of stuff more than anything else.
On Black History Month too, you
On
should.
Black History Month more than anything else. I mean, it should be like that for every other month as well, but especially on Black History Month.
Yes.
But I imagine like getting the chance to work on some of these and getting like it must be incredible to know that you have a platform with Luv Letter Studios to where like you're able to not only again provide opportunities for yourself but provide opportunities for others to really bring to life like others creations more than anything else. Like, is it insane to think that like you are now a reliable source for some people to go to and be like, hey, we have this cool idea, can you guys help us bring it to reality?
It's very strange because like I'm still trying to sit on it, but like Kaguya just came out. And so seeing people like have the icons of like the characters I specifically might have like drawn out, or like seeing the scene and being like, this was it, this was the scene. Just like that's the team. That was the team.
That was the team. That was the team. Like I can only imagine, again, like I said, like it had to be surreal at the end of the day to think like, hey, this is real because of us. This is real because of what we're doing more than anything else.
It's such a weird and fun experience. When we're doing it, we might be a little tired and be like, oh, not so fun. And then we see the final like thing and seeing like how it makes everyone happy. At least for me, my goal when I do animation is like I just want to make people smile. So when I get that confirmation that people are smiling, I'm like, yeah, I think I did my job. Okay, on to the next.
I mean, to be fair, I think that's the validation with just any animation person in the first place. Like, yeah, we're tired, we're exhausted, we probably should have been sleeping 5 hours or 5 weeks ago more than anything else, but you know what, we're putting something out there, people are happy. That's what I mean. Obviously Astro's happy from more than anything else. Oh goodness. But I imagine, like, obviously wanted to bring those smiles to people, providing a fun experience or whatnot. I cannot think of a better way that you guys are trying to do that, not just with helping out others, but with what you're trying to provide for yourself. And that is the big thing that I really want to talk about, Kennedy. I want to talk about Towards Galaxy's End more than anything else. Now, for those that have no idea what in the world I'm even talking about in the first place, first off, how dare you? But secondly, tell the people at home, what is Towards Galaxy's End?
Yeah, so if you guys like magical girls and vampires that are like very space themed, then you should definitely check us out. Towards Galaxy's End is about a girl named Ami or Amina Amelia Watson that winds up dying in like a car accident after saving her best friend. And she comes back to life as this weird space vampire. And when she finds out there's 6 other girls like her, she goes on a whole quest just to find them so that way she can form a magical girl group. And everyone thinks she is insane.
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure if you said that without the context of this is a show, I'm sure anyone would think you're insane. Just thinking like, oh yeah, no, I died and then came back to life as this weird space vampire. Apparently there's like 6 other ones that are like that. We're going to come together. We're going to make a magical girl group. The first thing someone's going to be like, should we call the crazy house? Should we call a hospital? Like, what should we do here?
The amount of times everyone in the show is just like, oh, she's dumb. You know, like.
But also the same people's like, oh, she's serious. Oh no. How did this concept even come to you in the first place? Because like you describing it right now, it seems like such a weird amalgamation of so many different things. So like, what was the inspiration for Towards Galaxy's End? What led to you creating it?
Would you believe me if I told you I just drew an icon for like my computer class and then I said, oh, there's a story behind this?
You know what? It would not be the wildest thing I've heard with how something has been created, but please do elaborate. How did an icon lead to this incredible concept?
So when I was 18, I had to make a website that was supposed to be a portfolio for one of my classes.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, I need to have something pretty here because this looks boring. And so I drew Ami and Sabrina looking at each other. Sabrina was just kind of like, oh, like, you have to take this more serious. And like Ami was looking at her like, oh my gosh, we should do this thing. And so to me, I was like, there's a story here. I just have to figure it out. So I was like, Ami has a thing. She's a vampire. And then I was like looking at the outfits and I was like, they're magical girls.
Oh goodness. Like something, it's weird how something as simple as this has somehow snowballed into this absolutely like stunning concept that has been seen on some level when it comes to like proof of concepts and such, and more than anything else. Like it's got to amaze you more than anything else. Like even just talking about the thing that like what started off as just like little doodles has led to something that you want more than anything else to bring to life and showcase to the world just a fun, incredible concept this can be.
Yeah, I'm surprised because like the proof of concept won an award and we were like, huh?
This wasn't even the full thing.
I was like, oh, that's cool. The proof of concept literally says Kickstarter now live, but all right, cool.
Kickstarter now live, goes to the Kickstarter page. Oh, I missed it. Dang. No, I mean, even then, regardless, like just from what you were even talking about, again, with like the weird subversion of what people could probably expect when it comes to like just the magical girl concept more than anything else. Like, was that something that you actively wanted to make sure that you do, kind of this weird subversion of the magical girl genre more than anything else? Because I think when a lot of people think of magical girl stuff, they think like the team's already established, like it's all about friendship and positivity and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you have this one that's like, I need to make this a reality, like actually basically providing like the preamble for what we would see with like a Sailor Moon or something like that.
So my inspirations are Madoka Magica.
Where have I heard that before?
Ojama Jodoremi, Little Witch Academia, and sometimes I will say Kizo Monogatari
Okay.
as a hint, or sometimes I'll say Higurashi as a hint. constant nudge nudge to people of what they're getting themselves into.
Oh goodness. I mean, even then, like just having those inspirations alone. Again, I imagine there are people in my audience that are like, oh, okay, we see, we're ready.
They're just like, oh, okay, this is gonna go somewhere that I'm not. I was like, I get it now.
Goodness. And just for the people that are home that are curious, like, again, I'm talking about this stuff, but how long have you had this concept, like, more than anything else?
So it's almost been 10 years if I drew them back in 2018.
Okay, wow. Okay, so yeah, 8 years at this point. Like, Jesus. Like, even then, like, that alone, like, goodness, the fact that you've had even the spark to do this in the first place, like, that long ago, and here you are now, like, years later, with some amazing, like, with the concept alone. I will obviously have the links in the description or whatnot for you guys to go check out the YouTube channel that feature like the concepts more than anything else, the animation, but like the absolutely stunning and like the like very smooth animation that you have with it, the wonderful character designs and the outfits more than anything else, the fantastic voice cast you have more than anything else. Like, I gotta commend you more than anything else for getting like the cream of the crop when it comes to some incredible voice acting more than anything else. Like, I can only imagine how much of a fun challenge it was for you to make sure that you find the voices for these characters that I imagine you hold very near and dear to you.
Shout out to Waves Joestar. He was the original voice for Angel. He actually reached out to me first because when I was doing the proof of concept, I was like, well, there's not going to be any voices. It's just going to be me. Just going to animate this, and then we go from there. And he was like, hey, but like, if I found like voice actors for you and you just build up your team a bit more, we can probably do something here. So luckily, again, going to SCAD, I had a lot of friends. My friends had friends of friends, and then they had friends. And then we all just, okay, let's make it.
Hey, there you go. I mean, sometimes that's all you need. Just knowing that there's a community behind you that's more than willing to help you make this thing a reality or whatnot. Something as simple as a doodle for what was supposed to be a website, and here you are again 8 years later, bringing this thing to reality more than anything else. I mean, again, like I mentioned the cast, but even then, just listing some of the names or whatnot. I mean, I obviously shout out once again Lykyra for being a fantastic lead voice more than anything else. Zeno Robinson, AJ Beckles. I mean, like just those three alone. There are probably some people that heard this episode and they're like, "Wait, huh? What's going on?"
Yeah, I know. Because we are getting ready to redrop a Kickstarter,
Ooh.
And the Kickstarter may or may not feature Inari's for that specific episode, since we're turning episode 1 into shorts now.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, just to let you know, we do have an entire arc already written out.
Really? Right off the bat. Nice.
So, technically, I'm on episode 10 of writing, so one arc is done, another arc is almost done, but the season is at its end at writing.
Okay. That's what we call good planning ahead more than anything else. I mean, especially like I said, considering the fact that again, with 8 years that you have with this thing, like I imagine with how much love and passion you have for this thing to like truly bring it to life, like more than anything else, like you could attest to it yourself or whatnot, but like how much of a fun, once again, a fun challenge, but how much of a labor of love is this project for you more than anything else?
So, funny enough, if I told you I had a project that I've been working on for over a decade, you probably would be like, oh, she might be a little insane. But in terms of a labor of love, I think TG means a lot to me because of the fact that it's so absurd and out there that it's challenging me to write something that is meant to be profound, but also not to be taken super duper seriously. Because at the end of the day, like again, she's a magical girl space vampire. Like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's only so much you can take that more than anything else.
It's like no matter how you spin it, I'm like, that's definitely a silly concept. But one thing that I like to write about, and I guess this also can go into like what we deal with in society right now, is like I like writing about morals and choices. And so one of the catchphrases or like questions that we posed at the beginning of like our campaign when we started posting it in 2023 was, if you had the chance to come back to life after dying prematurely, like what would you do?
Right.
And it leads to questions of like, oh, I would just like, I know some people say like I would vibe, or like I would like become a hero, or I would like get money or something like that. Like little things where I was like, but what would you do
Right.
if you like, because you now have a second chance and you missed out on something on your first chance. So what would you do?
Well, I think that poses a very interesting question for this one. Kennedy, what if you somehow died prematurely and you had the opportunity to come back? What would you do?
Shoot, I mean, if I came back as a space vampire.
I mean, true. There's that concept of it. There's that aspect of it more than anything else.
I mean, I'm in a situation where I work a lot, and we already established that I work a lot.
Yes, you do.
I think if I was in a situation where I came back and I had a second chance, I probably wouldn't work as much, because there are times where I do feel like I'm missing a lot, and I have missed a lot. I want to say like 2-3 years ago now, my grandpa passed away, and this was the first time I've ever dealt with a grandparent passing away.
Right.
And I still have 3 left. Most people can't say that at 26.
No, I was gonna say for me, technically I have 6 grandparents, because I got my mom and my dad's grandparents, and then my stepmom, because my dad remarried or whatnot, and all of them are gone. I don't have any grandparents at this point. So yeah.
And I think that's the part that stops me a bit, because I know I hadn't seen my dad's mom in like, I want to say since I graduated college, and then I got to see her as a surprise for Christmas, and it was nice. And I just sat there and I was like, I think I need to stop working as much, because like, to me, she gets around everywhere. She's happy, she's healthy, but then like, again, it's been 3 years and like she's still happy and healthy.
Right.
But it was like, oh, I genuinely don't think I have a lot of time.
Right.
And I need to use that time wisely. Now, have I been doing that since then? Absolutely not. Am I about to try to force myself to stop? Yes.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, to be fair, hey, life, at the end of the day, life happens. There's only so much you can control, but at the same time, it's not like you're not taking the opportunity, at least nowadays, to really make an effort to make that reality at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know today, actually, I wound up hanging out with my mom and my grandma on, like, my mom's side.
Yep.
So it was nice getting to see her, but, like, my mom had to remind me. She was like, you haven't seen her since, like, Thanksgiving time, because I didn't see her for Christmas. And I was like, right. That's crazy, because I live across the street from her.
Goodness. No, it's funny that you bring that up, because, earlier today, I called my mom. I called my mom because my mom lives like 3 hours away from me. She lives in a different state from where I'm at right now. And like, she just casually reminded me, is like, yeah, it's been a while since you called more than anything else. And I'm like, well, I tried to call you last month while I was doing my trip out to Baltimore or whatnot. And even then, that's over a month since I tried to call her, let alone talk to her more than anything else. Like, yeah, I hate to get all super sentimental or whatnot, but obviously we're at this point or whatnot. But like, there are times where like I heard her pick up and I felt immediately bad. Like, I'm sorry. I know I should have called a little sooner. Like, I feel bad at the end of the day. But like, the fact that I still had the opportunity to talk to her is something that I never take for granted at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing. Because truthfully, after this, I'm gonna call my nana. That's my dad's mom. And be like, "Happy Valentine's Day." We texted, but I was like, "I gotta call you once I'm like free."
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, like, again, we only have one life,
right?
And because of the things happening in society right now, or because of like us just trying to stay afloat, we tend to forget that, like, the person next to us also has one life.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure we stay a part of that one life.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why I really do love and appreciate what you're trying to put forward towards Galaxy's End, because it's giving a little bit of hope more than anything else, of like, if a person had that opportunity to like get a chance to live again, And the fact that, you know, Amina is like so dead set on like trying to not only like come back and like live the life, but also like try to make life better at the end of the day by bringing together the other 6 magical girls that are like her and trying to defend off like the forces of evil that may be attacking or whatnot. Like it's as weird of a concept again as it is of space vampire reincarnated angel or whatnot. Like that little message of hope at the end of the day is something that I really do love and appreciate when it comes to this series, and it's something that I'm really excited to see more of.
And I know on the villain side too, I hope that people take away the fact of that question of if you had that second chance, because I want people to also think about, well, why did they choose to do this? Why did the pirate gang decide we want to still, like, we want to be pirates? Why did like AJ's character decide to do what he's going to do, which I can't say too much on because it's a huge spoiler. But it's little things there where I'm like, people do bad things, people do good things. Why do they choose to do these things? What in their life forced them to think that this was the right choice for them?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, especially for a lot of these people like the villains or whatnot, they think they're the heroes of their own story, so they have their own motive to try to go forth and make this thing a reality, or make whatever goal they have a reality at the end of the day.
So. Yeah, and I think that's something about humanity and just like living that I like the most, because we always see ourselves as the protagonist. We are the protagonist of our own life,
right?
But everyone else is also the protagonist of their life. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know what they're mentally thinking about. And so it's little things like that I like to kind of capture and write about or draw about, because it's like, even like with my character design, sometimes you'll catch the faintest things where it's like, I wonder, like, this little, like, maybe she has a sticker on her face, or maybe she has a Band-Aid or something, or maybe like most of her clothes are like good, but then there's like that one tethered like piece of fabric. It's like little things there where it's like, what led to this? What makes you think, like, why would the character have this? Is this a choice? Is this just like a fashion sense? Is this something that happened? Like, you know, everything has a story, and I think that's what's important to me.
I hope you also realize that at this point, just by saying that, you're giving people the opportunity to now go through every single frame of what you got to put forward when you do make Towards Galaxy's End a reality, to try to analyze every little detail, be like, okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? We got to write that down.
I kind of hope people slightly do, because like, we definitely don't have an ARG happening right now. Definitely not an ARG on the website. But I don't mind if people overanalyze. You probably don't get your hopes up too much, because like, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a genius, but hopefully it does read as these characters are human, even if Omni is now a space vampire.
Look, we could stretch the meaning of word human to a certain extent, you know? They're at least human based. They're based in humanity.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. And like you said, Erwin, as well, the fact that you're gearing up for another Kickstarter at this point, because unfortunately the last Kickstarter didn't do as well as I imagine you guys would have liked. But even then, like, with the years of experience you guys now have at this point, and especially with this new game plan that you guys are talking about or whatnot, like, I want you to talk about this Kickstarter for a little bit, because I can imagine there are people that are probably hearing about this for the first time and is like, ooh, I want to see more of this. I want to help make this a reality. So what do you guys have planned with this Kickstarter that you have for the new revamped version of Towards Galaxy's End?
Yeah, so originally when we did our Kickstarter, we actually got hit by a lot of scammers. And so when that happened, I just was kind of like, I'm gonna pull it, because the scams, how Kickstarter works is like, if you keep getting like scam amounts of money and then they keep pulling it out and then putting it back in, it actually tanks your Kickstarter. Even if it's not on you, it's just like, it tanks it.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's regroup, let's try this again, but let's see if we can do it a different way, so that way we can still work on it, but we might have to start smaller.
Right.
So this Kickstarter, well, to word it like this, I don't know if you had a chance to see, but you might have noticed that we've been putting out a lot of different languages for TG this time around.
Yeah, I noticed that there's a good couple of dubs on your guys' on the YouTube channel more than anything else, to really get the word out there.
Yeah, we well, something for me that I prioritize is that, again, if we're a love letter to animation, I want that to be something that anyone could be able to resonate with.
Absolutely.
So a few dubs did reach out to us, and at first I was a little like, we'll see, but then I thought about it. I was like, I want this to be able to resonate with anyone, because our story doesn't just take place in the US, it takes place around the world, through the galaxy, towards the end of the galaxy.
You can't exactly put towards galaxy's end and make the galaxy the United States of America, you know.
That's like it. There's little things there where I'm like, I think that it would be smart for us to have multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it helps. It's little things like that where I was like, okay, well, what we can do is let's break this up into shorts.
Okay.
We can still have our episode 1, but if we break it up into shorts, we have a better chance of being able to fund it. We might not hit what we needed to make the full thing, but we'll have enough to where we can start off. We can make our shorts. We can then do our Patreon. If we need to do another crowdfunding, we can.
Right.
But at least if we have the animation, we can get people a bit more excited and start seeing more and more of the world. Now, what we did do a few weeks ago, which kind of changes things a bit, is I changed episode 1 through 3 script.
Oh, interesting.
And by that I mean I wrote it more like a film than a show.
Okay, so instead of making it like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, it's like one big script that's split up into 3 part, like part 1, part 2, part 3 of the same script.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is what I'm calling, it's still going to be towards the beginning, but that's now the arc. It's going to be arc towards the beginning. And so episode 1 had about 6 shorts broken out into it. So theoretically speaking, we can hit about 20 shorts for that arc.
Okay.
But we're going to start slow. I'm still going to leave it at around 6 for now, but we're going to make sure the first short has all of the languages that we need in order to resonate with the people that are following us. Because right now we have a lot of people from Brazil, we have people from France, we have people from a lot of the Latin American countries that are interested in the project. Mm-hmm. So why leave them out because we only did the Kickstarter for like the English side of things when we have people that are interested. So that's how we're planning on breaking it apart this time around. We'll have it in the short forms, but we'll do it in a way where we can simuldub the other languages.
That's honestly a really smart idea, like bringing in more of an opportunity for inclusivity at the end of the day, for more people to wanting to get involved and wanting to see this thing a reality, especially with how big of a scope you want to have with this literal galaxy of ideas at the end of the day.
Yeah, and right now, because our studio also functions as an anime studio, we're in talks of getting a Japanese dub right now.
Ooh.
But we also have the singer for Higarashi's Dear You, who wrote the ending song for us.
That's incredible, more than anything else, to hear that. Like, even then, having a person of that magnitude helping out at the end of the day, that screams like, oh, this is impressive at the end of the day.
And there's a few other people that's helping us out. I can't say just yet.
Ooh.
But there's a lot happening behind the scenes. Even if we're not posting a lot, there's still a lot happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
But I will say, be on the lookout for a post that says when the Kickstarter is dropping within the next week.
Ooh. Which, by the time...
Might be after the podcast comes out.
I was going to say, which by the time this episode comes out, because this episode's coming out towards the tail end of February or whatnot, that post is probably out there. So you guys definitely need to keep your eyes peeled more than anything else. And I mean, look on the socials when it comes to the Postmodern Art Podcast, because we're going to make sure to amplify that voice more than anything else and let the people know, hey, this is a reality. This is a thing. Go support it at the end of the day.
Thank you, by the way.
Oh, no, of course. Of course. Trust me. I wanted to make sure I brought you on this podcast because I've been so in love with this concept more than anything else, especially since I was first like really truly introduced to this around the time that, to be blunt, around the time that I brought Lakaira on the podcast, like really getting the chance to see this more in full and like get a grasp of the insane elements that could potentially go into this or whatnot. Like, I want to see this thing be a reality. That's why I'm more than happy to have you on, have you talk about this stuff and really amplify that voice as much as possible. And I can only imagine for you, again, since you've had basically a decade at this point to really bring this idea to life at this point, like, I can only imagine how exciting, but also like how terrifying it is for you to bring this thing to reality.
It's a weird experience because we actually just hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Well, 2,100 now after yesterday. And so I remember telling my friends, like, oh, people like this weird concept. I was like, this is a very outlandish concept.
Yes,
and
it is.
People are interested in it.
But we like the weird stuff. We like those weird concepts. We're in a new age of indie animation where weird is the way to go.
Yes. And I'm like, listen, if it makes people happy, if we got some more original stuff, because we are lacking in that in the industry.
Absolutely. Jesus, yes, especially now that there seems to be more of a love for indie animation, and again, more of the weird stuff at the end of the day being brought to life. I mean, at the time that we're recording this, literally yesterday, we had announcements from people that were big in the industry, like obviously Knights of Guinevere getting greenlit for a full season, Matt Browley announcing that he's starting a studio to bring forth that the unique twist of the Nutcracker or whatnot, like. It's great to see that the weird stuff is being made by people that truly love to see the weird stuff out there. And you certainly have had your boots on the ground for years at this point, trying to make the weird stuff a reality.
I think weird is good. Hollywood is scared of weird right now.
Yes.
Weird is good because if you don't get weird, how will you get the Oscar winners, the Annecy Award showcasers? Like, how will you get the Spirited Aways? Let's put it that way. How will you get that? How will you get the Lilo and Stitches?
look, to put it bluntly, like, there was a point in time where SpongeBob was considered the weird child, all right, more than anything else, and now that's considered the norm. How are we going to get the new norms? How are we going to get those new pillars of animation if we just keep running through like all the weird stuff, and if it's not as successful as a SpongeBob or something like that? No, we're done with it. Let's go push this away. Like, we'll just go back to what we know best or whatnot. You have to get weird. Weird is what brings out fun, creative ideas at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think, we just have to really celebrate creators that put themselves out there to show us their ideas, whether it's super weird or like super quirky or super silly. Like, we just have to celebrate them and just be like, but you did it. Absolutely. You made it.
Yeah. And speaking of you did it or whatnot, like, even then, think at this point, like, here you are, like, what started off as, again, a love for anime because your friend recommended you over and over again to watch Soul Eater, to here you are right now, years in the industry, working on some of that stuff that younger you would have been in, like, probably watching every single episode of when it dropped more than anything else, and getting the opportunity to bring your own thing to life, working as hard as possible to bring that thing to reality. Just thinking to your art journey as a whole, does it amaze you more or less how much you have been able to develop as an artist?
It's amazing because I don't know if younger me would have thought it was possible.
Right.
As you were saying that, I was thinking back to when it was Christmas time in 2015 specifically, and one of my old colleagues at the time gave me this Blue Exorcist like pin situation. And so we had to do some singing at chorus for our class because I was in Catholic school.
Okay.
And so I decided to take that little pin of Ren and I put him on my earring and I wore him during the concert. And so I just kind of had a flashback and I thought about, I was like, what would 15-year-old me have said if I just came up to her and said, but you did work on it.
Yeah.
But you did do this.
Also, I gotta say, it's kind of ironic that, for a Catholic school person, the one pin they have represent is Blue Exorcist more than anything else. I'm sure if the teachers understood the meaning behind that or whatnot, they would have been like, nope, that's off right now.
Don't worry, his birthday is like Christmas. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, look, it matches up perfectly. They understand more than anything else.
They're just like, is that? I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry
Technically
about it.
speaking, he goes to a Catholic school too. Don't worry about it.
And again, going up to younger you, imagining like being like that pin right there. Yeah, I worked with that. And I imagine younger you has got to be so confused more than anything else.
It's a few shows like Hanako. I used to watch that in high school.
Yeah.
And then I'm on it, and I'm like, oh, insert ambiguous show that I cannot say that I worked on until the show comes out later this year.
Right.
Can't, like, if I told myself I worked on that, probably would have been like, are you good? And I'm like, maybe.
Define good. I imagine younger you would probably also be just amazed with the community you've been able to like amass more or less as you really put yourself in this field, whether it's the colleagues you've been able to have when it comes to working in the industry, to just the people that show that love and support. Like, I imagine the community you've been able to amass has got to be like mind blowing at the end of the day, thinking there are people that love and appreciate what you do and want to see this thing be a reality.
One thing that was a nice surprise for me was like I said to you earlier, like I was a bit sick. To the audience, if like I don't know if we're gonna cut that part, but I got a bit sick this week because I was overworking myself.
Right.
And I luckily had a lot of colleagues that like worked at the studio, like with the studio. They were like, okay, we'll help you. And so everyone did what they could to help me get the assignment in on time. And we got the assignment in on time. But it was one of those days where I sat there and I was like, wow, this is the community that I have where I can trust my friends to kind of just like take them and like help with like Love Letter while I'm gone when I'm not feeling up to like where I need to be.
Right. No, absolutely. It's, if nothing else, it's probably a good testament to you as someone that understands that like, hey, these are good quality people. I'm so glad they are by my side helping me out because I don't know what I do without them at the end of the day. But for this next question, if I may, like it's obviously incredible to talk about that incredible stuff, but what if we go a little above and beyond? Because Kennedy, I want to give you more or less the dream scenario, if I may. Let's say I am big shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to you and I'm like, look, Kennedy, we have seen what you've been able to produce. We have seen the things that you're cooking up more than anything else. We know there's an opportunity to do some incredible stuff. You see a little extra push, a little extra platform to get you to that point. We have access to everyone and anyone in whatever industry possible, and more money than there should be possible. We probably should be giving it back to the animators, make sure they have like a solid living wage, maybe health insurance, all stuff like that. You know, a place to live more than anything else. Hashtag stand with animation forever and always. But we'll focus on them. We will focus on them soon enough. I promise you, we got them covered. But right now, we want to focus on you and you alone. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream Kennedy Freeman, or I guess what would be the dream Luv Letter Studios project?
Ooh, I don't know if I'm allowed. My team might kill me if I tell them that we have like 3 projects in the background.
Oh, you tease.
My team might kill me if I say that, and I can't currently say who is backing us to make sure like we can try to get that project set up
right
to get producing and stuff. You guys will find out soon enough, depending on what we can do. But, I mean,
I'll tell you what.
I'd probably say one of them.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you what. Let's make this a little bit easier. How about instead of focusing on just the dream project, what if we helped just continue to build up the dream studio? Just put the money and resources into making Luv Letter Studios the studio that you want to be, so you can make those projects and then some.
I think what I would actually do is, opposed to. I know like the studio was started based on my projects, but one thing that I am hoping that I can build up depending on how this Kickstarter goes, I do want to do a situation where, you know how cartoons exist and
Yes.
they use that as a means of showcasing pilots and seeing who wants to take on what. One thing that I would like to push for, once we know the analytics of like this current Kickstarter, is have the team have that opportunity to make their like 2 to 3 minute pilot episode.
Okay.
And we have it as a Kickstarter again, and then we let the audience choose what they want to have funded and go from there, and hopefully have like 5 pilots at the ready for people to choose.
That would be incredible to see, like, brought forth to reality in one form or fashion, especially in, like, again, talking about today's age when it comes to like indie animation or whatnot, with how many weird and fun concepts that your team could probably come up with or whatnot, providing that to the world and letting the people decide what's the thing that you want to see become a reality more than anything else. Like, that's got to be a fun concept to even consider. And it makes me realize I should probably go back to my weird concept that I have of a person that randomly just gets the ability to shapeshift just out of nowhere and is learning to deal with those abilities to shapeshift, but it's not in the traditional way of thinking I am a dog, becomes dog. You have to think of descriptors or whatnot. Like, for example, oh, I don't want to deal with this prick, becomes a cactus. Stuff like that.
Definitely. That does sound very fun.
I did a live action short film of it in college. It's called Shifted, and it's on my filmmaker YouTube channel that I have or whatnot. I might link it in the description so that people can see it. Though it is very weird. It was college, and I was trying to figure out what would be a weird thing to get people to be like, oh, that's interesting.
So you're gonna have to link that to me once this is done, just so you know.
I got you covered. Don't worry. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
But sadly, we do need to get down from the dream scenario. We have to get back to reality, and I'll ask the ever so generic question. Where do you hope to see yourself, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
Shoot, if we can make TGE.
There you go.
That's it. For me, I have a very simple bucket list.
That's fair.
Work on the animes that inspired me to get into anime, which we are very close. I'm not going to jinx it just yet, but
here, knock on wood.
I hope if it comes true, I can tell you the running gag that me and my friends have. But it's that, and then just make my own project. And then I told myself afterwards, hey, so like, if it's good, if we make it, if it made at least one person smile, I will stop and I will become a teacher. And then that is
Hey, there you go. There you go. Make the money one way or another, right?
Listen, I'd probably be making more money selling burgers at McDonald's than what I do working in anime.
I hate that you're probably somewhat right. Although don't sell yourself short. Like, say you're gonna be like making burgers at like the Shake Shack or something like that. Something that's a little bit more high class than McDonald's.
Right, but I will let you know, minimum wage here is like $17. So I'm definitely making more at McDonald's right now than what I'd be making.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, to be fair, where sadly. I would say where I am, it's only like $2 less or whatnot. I think it's $15 an hour or whatnot. But even then, still, like, trust me, I get that sentiment more than anything else. Unfortunately, as we start to wind down the interview, I just got one last question I want to ask you, Kenzie. Obviously, you are deeply entrenched in art in one form or fashion. There is nothing that's going to drag you away from this, no matter what. At this point, like, again, you were super sick like last week, this past week or whatnot, doing this stuff. I don't think anything's going to take you out of it just because of that. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
I think art is what defines us as a society. Oh my gosh, I'm like telling my age again, even though I've done it like how many times in the podcast?
Right.
I miss how colorful McDonald's was, or I miss how like quirky and silly, like when you would open a PlayStation 2 and the screen is like full of color, or like the Game Cubes and stuff. I miss when things were colorful. And we don't have that anymore.
Right.
Art is the thing that I think awakens a lot of people in a sense where it brings out their joy, it brings out their sad, it brings out their funny.
Yeah.
It's definitely very important to me in a sense where, once again, my goal in life is to make at least one person smile through art.
Absolutely. So. I think that is both very telling of your age, because I felt that I related to that on so many different levels, but also I think that is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. Kenzie, that is all the questions I have for you today. I've already showered you with Lord knows how much praise at this point, but I'm gonna shower you a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what I want. Like I illustrated earlier or whatnot, ever since I even first became aware of Towards Galaxy, and once again, shout out to the wonderful Lakai Porter, fantastic voice actress on their own more than anything else. But ever since I was first introduced to it, I have just been absolutely amazed with what you have put out there, and it makes me so curious when it comes to what you could be putting out there more. Like, not joking when I was saying that, like, seeing the literal galaxy of possibilities or whatnot has me so excited, with such a weird, unique, fun little concept with some fun voices and amazingly like fun designs, great action. That's just from the proof of concept. That's not even like anything past that at this point. I very rarely get as excited when it comes to, like, there's some that there's a lot of indie animation out there that does get me excited, but there's nothing that has me more excited to see what could be more, not just what's already there, what could be more. And getting the chance to talk to you right now and hearing how much more you want to put into it with everything that you've either previously had or hope to do more than anything else, like, it has me excited for whatever's going to be happening next at the end of the day. Like, I cannot tell you, like, legitimately, I am so excited when it comes to Towards Galaxy End and just what you're going to be doing from here on out at the end of the day. Like, hearing the opportunities that you've had and the opportunities you're creating, not just for yourself, but others or whatnot, it gives me a new level of love and appreciation that I figured I was going to have, but it's on a completely different level than I knew I was going to whenever I started this conversation at the end of the day. The long and the short of it is, Kennedy, thank you for what you do. Thank you for providing a fun concept and a great opportunity for people to really go out there and thrive and strive to do more, do crazy, fun, weird stuff at the end of the day, because the crazy, fun, weird stuff needs to be out there. And just know that I am one of few, hopefully one of many, hundreds, thousands, who knows, at some point, that is rooting for you every single step of the way and wants to see so much more. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for also like being a light for everyone else who's in the indie sphere or like artists that's trying to share their voice, because it's hard out here. A
Yes,
lot
it
of us
is.
really, we don't know how to kind of get our stuff out there. We don't know how to tell our stories, and you're helping with getting everything out there for people.
Look, to be blunt, it ain't much, but it's honest work. Like, look, I know I don't have the biggest platform when it comes to that kind of stuff or whatnot. Like, but at the same time, I'm glad to provide what little platform I can to provide that voice, because genuinely, you guys, like, not just yourself, but all the guests I've been able to have on this podcast, you guys are doing all the incredible stuff. And if people are not already showing that love and support for you and wanting to see more of that, whatever few people I can turn in your direction to help bring that little bit more of excitement to what you guys are doing, it's more than worth it for me to do it week in and week out. So
thank you.
Absolutely. Now, if people want to see more about this incredible stuff that they should show that love and support for at the end of the day, go ahead and plug yourself for the people at home. Where can people find out more about what you got going on?
Oh my gosh, you can look us up on Towards Galaxy's End for YouTube. We got a YouTube. We hit 2,100
Yep.
now. So definitely follow us for more if you want to, hear about that update that's about to come out. That should be already out by the time the podcast drops. If you want to follow a bit more of like my anime journey, you can find me on like Kenzy KENZY Art on like Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram. You can probably Towards Galaxy we have a bunch of like Instagram and stuff too, but you can find our studio, Luv Letter Studio, that's LUV Letter Studios at like Twitter website.
Look, if nothing else, if you missed any links, I'm gonna make sure to have as many of them as I possibly can have in the description below. I know there's a lot of links to go to, but I want people to show that love and support. So check the description, see the links, show that love to Luv Letter Studios and to Kennedy and to everyone involved at the end of the day. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
Remember to make something for you and to have fun doing it. But also, again, shout out to my amazing team for always being there and for even making TG a reality and the studio a reality. I don't think I would have been able to do it without them or my family. So, thanks everyone.
Absolutely. I think that is wonderful words to end on. With that, all I have left to say is, for the people at home, if you can, please pay your artists. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you made it this far. Like I said in the intro, just Kennedy has been on my radar for quite a bit, and the fact that I was finally get a chance to have her on the podcast, it was an absolute blast. Kennedy, if you've gotten up to this point, thank you so much for taking the time to even do this in the first place. It genuinely means a lot, especially knowing how busy of a person that you are, but also like how much love and care and passion you really have for what you're doing. That's part of the reason why I was more than happy to bring Kennedy on and give them that spotlight more than anything else. I mean, you can see just from the visuals that you saw throughout the episode that there is a lot of love and care that is going into towards Galaxy's End. And honestly, seeing the times that she has been trying over and over and over again to make it a reality more than anything else, I want to do what little I can to warrant that. Because this is stuff I love to see in this community. Something that clearly has a lot of love and passion and craft and care for years and years and years. I want to see that get rewarded. I sincerely hope that with the Kickstarter campaign, when it does drop, that Luv Letter Studios can get that support and get the funding that they need. Because you heard Kennedy speak. This was a truly fun concept in the first place that needs to be brought to life. And especially with how carefully that she is crafted and recrafted, written and rewritten, all sorts of different aspects to make this thing a reality. Like, you can't help but show that love and support at the end of the day to see just how far she could go with this. It's creators like Kennedy that make me so happy to do this podcast and to talk to incredible people and to highlight those artists whenever I can. And I sincerely hope that you guys were able to get that, not just with this episode, but every single episode, but especially with this episode, because again, I want to make sure that Kennedy gets the chance to tell the story that she wants to so badly. So if you haven't yet, check out the links in the description. Go to the Kickstarter, support it. If it's after March 1st, if it's before March 1st, click so that you can be notified when it does drop so you can show that love and support. And if you can't financially support it because times are tough, money is tight, I completely understand. At least spread the word more than anything else. Spread that love to that community. Spread the word out to the community, because we need that love shown out there more than anything else, especially in times like these. We need that love out there on full display. So let's showcase that love, and let's give that love not just to Towards Galaxy's End, but to all the incredible creators out there that are taking the time to tell their stories.